Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hired and Wired. My name is Emily Landon. I am the tech recruiter. I've been doing this for about 6 years. It's been a wild journey. The tech recruiter specializes in tech recruitment, SaaS, fintech, AI, and blockchain. Today, we are going to be diving into profile reviews, everybody's favorite topic. My goal is to set you up for success, right? So if I can help you find a job, amazing. If someone else can help you find a job, amazing. If I can make you more visible so you can find a job for yourself, more recruiters will reach out, more hiring managers will reach out. That is the goal today. So if you would like your profile to be reviewed, please leave a comment. Send me your LinkedIn URL and we will get started. I've been doing this for about 6 years, LinkedIn Live for about 6 years. Do you guys remember when it used to be LinkedIn audio events? No faces, no video, just people joining the show and the event, and all chatting. I miss that a lot. I really do miss when we were able to communicate, not just via messaging, but you could actually come up on stage and have a conversation. Come here, Bubs. Hold on one second. Sorry. So I'm downstairs again. You can see Hunter. I'm away from my desk at the moment. We had a whole thing with the air conditioner, so everything was moved. So the desk is not available right now. But don't worry, we are still live and still here getting it done. So how this will work when it comes to profile reviews is if you leave a comment, I will bring your profile up on stage. I do need your permission to share your profile with everybody, right? So this is a recorded session. Want to make sure that we're respecting privacy. So please, in your comments, mention that you give me permission to share your profile with our friends. Let me just pull up comments. Guys, don't forget to say hello and let me know who's here. There's a lot going on in recruiting right now. It has been a crazy month of layoffs, which has not been fun. And there's also been some very strategic hiring. So I'm noticing a lot of opportunities in business development and marketing. Engineers have slowed down a little bit, though more engineering leadership positions have become available. A lot of companies are looking for those that have strong leadership skills, know the tech stack really well, not just someone that sits in codes, but can double check their team's work. So calling BS. There's been a lot of outsourced engineering teams that are now coming in-house, which I love to see. But they do need more of that team environment. So we're seeing a lot of return to office. I know this has been a trend for a while, but I think maybe I have one remote job on my plate right now, rather than 20. So the job market has definitely been a little slow. If you are looking for a job, don't be discouraged. It's just the market. We're coming into summer. Things slow down a little bit, but we're going to see more jobs come up. Some of the jobs we're working on right now, I've got a head of marketing. I have a head of sales. Hey, good morning, Lauren, and good morning, Adenye. Okay, beautiful. We'll grab to your profiles in a second. So I've got a head of marketing, a head of sales. Why don't I just pull up my database? What am I even doing? Hold on. Emily, get it together. Log in. Hold on. Allow password. I also have to make sure that since I'm on my Mac, I've got screen sharing abilities on. Hope that works. So I've got a lead front-end software engineer, an engineering manager. Those two are remote. I have a public equities director that's in Stamford, Connecticut. I am an associate researcher for Liquid Tokens, also in Connecticut. That head of marketing I was talking about, that's on site 3 days a week in New York, specifically Times Square. They are also looking for an executive assistant and a head of partnerships. And then last but not least, head of marketing / brand marketing manager. That's actually a remote company. I know I said I only had one, but I've got a couple. That's for a remote company based in LA. Ian, it's so great to see you. Hello from the Great White North. Hello from Chicago. Super glad that you guys could be here today. Why don't we get started with Miss Lauren? Please allow me to share my screen. Hold on 1 second, guys. There was no way to test this before I got started. Share screen. Okay, open system settings. Allow. May not be able to record the screen until it's quit. How do I do this? Let's see if it works. Oh, okay. Beautiful. So we are cooking with gas here. Add to stage. Hello, Miss Lauren. So I realize this might be a little small. Let me see if I can resize it. Yes. Okay. Beautiful. So, Lauren, welcome to Hired and Wired. Super glad that you could be here. The first thing I'm noticing, and what any recruiter or hiring manager will notice about your profile, is your banner photo, right? These lovely, clean photo of the plants and the laptop. So, normally, what I suggest for candidates is when you let me take a step back. Banner photos are someone's first impression of your profile. You want it to really reflect either your personality or the industry that you're in. So this banner photo gives me the impression that you're organized, right? It's simple. I like it. It's clean. So I don't mind this banner photo, but I noticed that you're in compliance. So don't be afraid to find something that's a little more compliance heavy. But again, this is like a serene photo. So I like it. It gives me some insight that you're probably a very calm and put together person. Good morning, Trevor. So looking at your picture, wonderful photo. It does look a little AI generated, but that's okay. It's very professional. I want to talk about the open to work banner. The open to work banner is it's got mixed reviews. And it was on LinkedIn late last night, and I was looking at a post, and this gentleman from Verizon was saying, I recently turned my open to work green banner off, and I've been getting more recruiter reach outs than ever before. And then he directed them to reach out to his other colleagues that were laid off at Verizon. And I thought this was interesting. I meant to comment on it, but I fell asleep. It's interesting because once you take that open to work banner off, you are going to receive more recruiter reach outs. The problem and what we're dealing with right now is negative opinions, negative assumptions. The open to work banner on LinkedIn indicates that you're open to work, right? And the question becomes, well, why is Lauren open to work? What happened there that she needs to advertise to the world that she's open to work? If we were talking 10 years ago on LinkedIn, I think the open to work banner had a different meaning, a different message. As a recruiter, it was much easier for me to identify who was actually looking for a role and who was going to get back to me. So let's talk about recruiter strategies for a second. As a recruiter, I'm limited to sending, let's call it 100, I think it's more than 100 now, but 100 connection requests a week, right? So my job is to fill my clients' job orders. I want to do that as quickly as I possibly can. So if I see someone with an open to work banner, I was more likely to reach out to them to hit my metrics faster, right? Recruiter's job, fill their clients' jobs. But these days, it's a red flag to hiring managers, right? It goes back to like, why are they looking for work? So it's not just a notification, hey, I'm open to exploring new opportunities. It's, hey, I need a job. So I might encourage you to take that banner down, but there is a setting on the back end of LinkedIn that notifies recruiters and hiring managers that you are open to work. So Lauren, though do you see this button right here, view and recruiter? This is a tool that I spend a lot of money on, like a lot of money. And LinkedIn, feel free to give us a discount. But this would show me your application history. So I don't want to click on that. I don't know if you've applied to a previous job of ours before, but it'll show your contact information. It will show me what jobs you've applied to. It will show me when you've applied to those jobs, questions that you've answered previously. But one thing that I think is cool is if you have a resume uploaded to LinkedIn, it will actually pull sentences, details, keywords off your resume and add them to your LinkedIn profile. So I'm going to jump into this in a second, but how LinkedIn works, it's all about the keywords and the skills you have on LinkedIn. So with your resume, it's pulling additional keywords, additional skills, but how it works is if I'm looking for a person, right, I'm using a Boolean search. So maybe I'm looking for someone that has a CAM certification, anti-money laundering keyword, and I come from crypto, so let's just say crypto, right? So if I put CAMs and crypto and AML into a search string and then I search it, those that have the most of the same repeating keyword, they come up on a list. And if they have the most, they come up first. So let's dive a little bit into your background and see, are you well positioned to come up in those searches? So your LinkedIn, your profile link, this is interesting. So LinkedIn is now standardized their clickable links on your profile. So it used to be like, click here for, my link tree, click here for tips and tricks, right? Now, and you must have put this on there a long time ago, because now it's just going to say, visit my website. The one thing I wish we would have done is put like a Google link to your resume. Right now, if you were to change this, it would have to be, visit my website, but I do like that you have a link here. However, it is a link back to your LinkedIn profile. So personally, I might update that. So don't be afraid to have a Google doc with your resume, and you can put this as view my website, take your contact information off, but that way people can actually come to your resume. Emails. So nobody wants spam emails. I would suggest you have an email specific to your job hunting process. Sorry, my dogs are moving. So this is an email. You don't want it to do like Lauren Williams job search at gmail.com. Also use Gmail addresses, not Yahoo, not AOL. That's going to date you. But you could have like laurenwilliams.cams@gmail.com. And that's the email you put on your resume. That's the email you would put on your Google Drive resume. And that way you've got everything separated. So when you get an email to that address, it is job related. And when someone visits your website, they go to your resume, they have an easy way to reach out to you rather than just sending you a connection request. But that way we filter all the spams. Let me just look at comments really quickly. I'm falling behind. Okay, so LinkedIn isn't working, but StreamYard is. Beautiful. So got a lot of people here. Trevor, hello. Super nervous about a LinkedIn profile audit. Let me refresh because I can't see who that is. Hold on. Chantal, beautiful. I'd love to help you. Just give me permission. Guys, everybody that's here, give me permission to share your screen. Chantal, I hear the open to work banner is counterproductive. Recruiters want people who look like they're in demand. Great point. Absolutely agree. Okay, we're caught up. Beautiful. So Lauren, let's go back to you. So we've got our location. This is important because on LinkedIn Recruiter, on these search tools, I can filter by location. So if you just have United States, you're not going to pop up in searches that I'm looking for you in Kentucky. Open to work, I've got the gist here. You're open to work with these specific roles. Again, I do say we take this off and just do it as open to recruiter only. That will let me see that you're open to work, but it's not advertising it to the world. Okay, let's talk about your about section. Interesting. So I like emojis. Emojis trigger emotional responses, but we want to stay professional, right? You're a compliance person. Everything is very direct, very professional, very streamlined. Sorry for the movement of the camera. So though I like these emojis, they stand out. I'm conflicted about these two, right? I think one of the other things when it comes to emojis is they often give you a youthful feel. So we do want to keep it a little bit more professional and appropriate for your level of experience. The one thing I noticed right off the bat was the M dashes. So clearly alerting me that you've used AI for this profile, which is not a bad thing, but you don't want anybody to know. So take out those M dashes. Hi, I'm Lauren Williams, CAM certified compliance professional with over 17 years of experience. Beautiful. So this is a great first sentence, and this would be a great sentence on your LinkedIn profile, but also on your resume. It educates the reader. Here's what I do. Here's how much experience I have, and here's my specialty. So when you have a resume, guys, a lot of people put a huge chunk of text for the summary. You really only need 1 to 2 sentences. People are spending 3 to 30 seconds on a profile and a resume to make a decision if you're a fit for the job. But I really like this first sentence, and this gives me a little bit more spice about what you are motivated by. So here's something that's really cool. There are LinkedIn text formatters online where you can type the word into this box and then it generates different fonts. I don't mind this. I think it's very eye-catching. However, LinkedIn doesn't recognize it as a word. So if I were to look at you in Recruiter, it doesn't recognize this formatted text as a keyword. So though visually appealing, does eventually hurt you in the long run because financial won't come up as a keyword. It just doesn't recognize this. Also, in your LinkedIn posts, when you have edited text in your LinkedIn post, LinkedIn doesn't recognize those words. Beautiful. Collaborative leader. So one thing you want to do is you want to capitalize job titles. So mentor, train, analyst, capital on A. Hold on a second. Clicking 2 dashes, then hitting enter. Okay, so you created those M dashes yourself. Heard, love that. Still looks like AI. Industry contributor, beautiful. Yeah, this is good. At the heart of it, I'm passionate. I am certified. Okay, so great. We've got BSA in here again. Nerd and geek gives me a little flair for your personality. I actually like this. Perfectly organized, color-coded Excel spreadsheets, right? So that's what I talked about when I saw your banner photo, right? Organized. So I think that's an appropriate banner photo for you. Love to see that you are reposting. Let's talk about posting on LinkedIn for a second. LinkedIn is not a popularity contest. It's not about how many likes you get. It's not about how many shares you get. It's not about being funny, though I love to be funny in my LinkedIn posts. It's about staying top of mind. So I know I talk about this all the time, but in marketing, there's a concept of when you see something more times, you become more familiar with it, meaning you like it more. You're more likely to purchase it or try it out. So the more they see your name in the feed, the more likely they are to interact with you. So the reposting is good. And the posting with an additional text. Whoop, please don't open that. Okay. The posting with the additional text is good because that adds your flair to the post, right? Now, one of the things that's interesting that I don't like about LinkedIn is when you reshare a post, even with your own text, it doesn't go as far as if you were to screenshot the post and then post it as your own, crediting the original poster, just like one of those things that LinkedIn does. All right. Confidential regional bank short-term contract. Got it. Beautiful. Educates the reader. Exactly know what you do. I think okay, so you've got the tools that you used here. Beautiful. You've got a metric. Beautiful. Now let's talk about this. Suspicious activity alerts. Beautiful. Oh, you've got SARS right here. Awesome. Okay, so keyword wise, you've got to kind of take advantage of what keywords someone might be looking for. So that might be SARS, that might be suspicious activity reports. It's good to have both in there. Now, I mentioned in the beginning that LinkedIn goes off skills and keywords. Skills, here's a hack for skills that's relatively new. So Lauren, you've tagged all these skills to this position. So you've got the skill fintech here. And then if I were to scroll to the bottom, you're probably going to have the keyword or the skill fintech in here as well. So you've now duplicated the word fintech twice. I don't know when LinkedIn is going to take this away because they take a lot of things away. But at this point, you have duplicated that keyword. So I think it's always beneficial to have more skills attached to each position. It's just a quick LinkedIn algorithm hack. Senior BSA, AML investigator, beautiful. Let's capitalize analysts. This is good. I'm just scrolling through it. Keep in mind how quickly I'm scrolling through this. I've got a good idea about what you're doing. I see some metrics. I see that you've managed people, and I see, like I said, what you're doing. 314A and B, the Patriot Act. So glad you have that posted here. There's a lot of candidates in the compliance space that don't put 314A or B, and that's a keyword I'm frequently looking for. And you've got it tagged as a skill here. One thing I might encourage you, this is up to you, right? I noticed that you have full-time listed on your profile. This can be beneficial. However, it is just kind of extra words on your profile. Not necessarily required, but fine to have. So if I'm scrolling down to show all, Looks good. Looks good. Old National, United, Independent Bank. So the only, okay, beautiful. You've got the rest of your experience here. The only thing that I think might be beneficial is adding a sentence about the company, right? So Independence Bank, right? What does Independence Bank do? I'm not familiar, but maybe they're a local bank. So putting that local financial institution focused on X, Y, and Z, whether that's institutional or consumer bank. So just adding a couple more keywords. And here's the thing. We have to set the person that is looking at our resume up for success. So if I didn't know, which I don't, what Independence Bank is, I'd have to click on the logo and then I'd have to go to this page. And then maybe I don't understand what this says, right? It says bringing a revolution to banking throughout Kentucky. What exactly does that mean, right? So then I go to the overview. It's fine, but still not enough. Then I go to the about section, get another description, same description, and then maybe I go to the website. So these are a lot of clicks that the recruiter has to go through to identify really what Independence Bank does. So if you put a sentence about the company, it just makes it that much easier and adds those keywords. Education, beautiful. I love that you don't have have your dates of education on. That's beautiful. When you have your dates of education on a LinkedIn profile, it dates you, right? It tells someone how old you are. And your age should not determine, your salary nor your level of position. Okay. So let's look at recommendations. You've got 4. The one thing, why, come on, load. All right. The one thing that I'm noticing about these recommendations is they're short, they're to the point, kind of like your banner photo. I find recommendations need to be very thoughtful. So anybody can write hey, Emily's great, loved her, would work with her again. But if you have someone vouching for you and giving specific details, people are more likely to read the recommendation and respect the recommendation. When someone is thoughtful with their recommendation and they put a lot of work into it, pro tip, write the recommendation for them or give them bullet points to note on in the recommendation so that way it's lengthy. When they see a more lengthy recommendation, it gives the appearance that you did such a great job that this person was willing to put in a ton of effort to write you a LinkedIn recommendation, and that sends a message. So Lauren, let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. No, I'm scrolling pretty fast here, guys. Various certifications, organizations, interests, causes, beautiful. So overall, Lauren, I think this is a great LinkedIn profile. It's clean. It gives me great information. I think the only thing, which is fine for a compliance professional, is it's missing that pizzazz, and it's hard to put professional pizzazz in a LinkedIn profile. But I think for your specific career, wonderful profile. It'd be very easy for me to find you. Well done. Bravo. Let me stop sharing there. All right, back to our team here. I just want to make sure if we're doing LinkedIn profile reviews, everybody is still here. So we had Chantal, Yaha, and I'm loading earlier comments. Adinye, if you guys could let me know if you're still here, we'll move on to your profile with just quick confirmation that you agree to let me share the screen. Again, it is a recorded session, so I don't want you to feel like your privacy has been compromised. Lauren had a comment. I never knew if I should explain my job gap or not. It's not necessarily necessary on a LinkedIn profile. I mean, if it was a significant gap, it's helpful. It always feels a little awkward to put on there. But it's okay to document, the gap, but you do want to give a specific reason, right? People have gaps in their resume all the time, and it's because they were unemployed. But maybe if there's a reason that you're unemployed, that's going to be helpful to educate the reader, right? Gaps can be a little bit of a red flag. So by giving an explanation, you're just eliminating that red flag. And again, that's what we're really getting down to. There are so many applications on LinkedIn, people applying to jobs, people submitting their resumes. Companies aren't looking for an opportunity to hear your story. They're looking for reasons to disqualify you. All right, Adanya is still here. Let's pull up their profile. So silly that LinkedIn's not like tracking the comments. Hold on. All right. Beautiful. All right, let me share this. Yaha's here. Carlos, I feel I have a really horrible LinkedIn profile. I know for sure LinkedIn has never been my forte, if I'm being honest. That's okay. That's why I'm here, right? Name another recruiter that's doing this. But that is why I'm here, to help set you up for success. I do this once a week, and you can get your profile reviewed or take notes from others that we are going over. All right, Adanye, let me bring you up on stage here. Add to stage. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. So I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Adanye, you've got your banner photo up here. Here's the one thing. So I've been doing this for 10 years. I've noticed that freelancers or owners of companies usually have this type of banner photo. So it's a banner photo that educates their name, their specialty, and then gives their contact information, which is exactly what you have. You may be interested in actually finding a photo on Google that kind of is in line with what you're doing or the industry that you're in. It does send the signal that you're not a freelancer. So again, guys, these are just trends that I've noticed over the last 10 years, feedback I've been given from hiring managers. Am I 100% correct? No, absolutely not. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just letting you know what hiring managers think, what recruiters are thinking. 57 connections. Let's bump that up. You can send 100 plus connection requests a week. Don't be afraid to exercise that. You can send 25 a day. Let's keep pushing. Okay, Lauren, I see your comment. It's fine. You can call me Joseph. Thank you, Joseph. C-Suite made the decision to have all employees RTO. I was hired fully remote and reside in Kentucky. I understand. So feel free to educate the reader that, the company did RTO and you were based in Kentucky and was not moving. Let's go back to Joseph. I'm a customer support and success professional. Beautiful. Who you are, how many years of experience, and what you do. Perfect. Exactly what recruiters and hiring managers are looking for. I think this is a really strong summary. Not only does it feel a little more personal, but it gives me good information, right? You've got a metric here, 30 support tickets maintained daily, maintain sub 24 hours, SLA compliance. So I think this is a good banner or a good summary. What I bring isn't just speed, it's this is fabulous. If you used AI, beautiful job. Guys, if you are in customer support or just editing your LinkedIn profile in general, I do feel like I'm getting an idea of the urgency from Joseph's page here. So feel free to use this as a template and say, I'd love to write a summary about my background that's kind of feels like this tone. I think this paragraph specifically gives me a confidence and gives me a good idea of his success rate, right? Think about it like this. Companies are hiring people to make an impact in their company. They're not looking to hire people to sit in a circle and sing kumbaya. So you need to show a company, hey, here's why you should hire me. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I have a bachelor's in accounting and finance. So naturally, I think in systems. I notice patterns. Again, not conflict resolution, but really giving me an idea about your specialty and why it's your specialty. I think this is okay to have in a summary that you're open to work. You don't have the banner, double checking, you don't have the banner, but it's nice to quietly drop it in there. Do I suggest this all the time? No, but I think based off your summary and how you've written it, this is appropriate. Services. So this is a challenge, this services section feature on LinkedIn. And guys, we've got to go in a couple of minutes here. So these services signal that you're either a freelancer selling a service, you're a business owner selling a service, or you're actively looking for a job. So you have to make that decision if you want people to get the impression that you're actively looking for a role. For your specific experience, and what you're going for, I don't mind this. And again, it gives me the details about where you bring the value. Let's see, activity, beautiful, 7 hours ago, posting, resharing. Let me go over a little bit. Just don't be afraid to write your own posts on LinkedIn. I think it's really important. And again, it's not a popularity contest. It's about staying top of mind. So it really does sound like you're an expert in customer service. So I would start posting about, here's what I learned in customer service, top 3 tips that have made me successful. One of the things I see here is you have experience as a community manager, but in your profile, you're talking a lot about customer service, customer success. So in professional world, right? Job titles are funky. Someone could be a account manager, but they're really a marketing manager. So my favorite suggestion is use parentheses next to your titles. So if you were a community manager, I would do parentheses customer success. You're not claiming this to be your title. You're educating the reader. Hey, was a community manager officially, but here's really what I specialized in. Again, great job tagging the skills, education, beautiful, bachelor's degree in accounting. Here's where we can improve. You can have, I want to say it's like 150 now, but at least 100 skills. So use AI, say, here is my LinkedIn profile. Here is my resume. What important keywords can I add under my skills section that recruiters and hiring managers might be looking on LinkedIn to make it easier to find me? So user interaction, great. I don't know if you have I can look, but I don't know if you have customer service on there, customer success, metrics, KPI, turnaround. I think keywords like that will be very helpful. The other thing we are missing is LinkedIn recommendations. I think, there's a lot of stigma about professionals in Nigeria, right? It's unfortunate. It is what it is. So we want to overcome that. I think a LinkedIn recommendation would go a long way. Not only does it validate that you're a real profile because you only have 57 connections, but it validates that you did a great job. Time zone is so important these days. Companies are hiring people within similar time zones. So that way there's no miscommunications on meetings, right? A 7 a.m. meeting for me might be a 3 p.m. meeting for you. A 3 p.m. meeting for me might be a 2 a.m. meeting for you. I don't know the exact time difference off the top of my head, but 2 a.m. meetings are likely missed. So people, and that's the historic trend over the last 6 years. It used to be hiring very globally, very distributedly. But now we're kind of reeling that back in to make sure that people are making meetings on time. Okay, so overall, Joseph, and then you can actually add your nickname to your LinkedIn profile in parentheses, Joseph. I wouldn't be hesitant to do that. Overall, I think it's a strong profile. I think it's a very strong profile. I think it's personal. It gives me a little bit of flair for your personality, which also shows me, hey, this is how you're going to interact with our customers. Lauren, should I put that in my about section or just add it like I would a job so it looks chronological? You can put it in your about section. I think that's perfect. So Joseph, I think you did a great job. I really do get a feel for your personality here. I like the profile a lot, and I hope this review was helpful to you. Okay, so it's 11 a.m. Central. I have to get going. Want to leave everybody with this. Every Wednesday after Hired and Wired, I do a group one-on-one. So if you have specific questions that you would like to talk about or a pain point you want to dive into, join one of my group sessions. The link is in my bio. I think it's book an appointment. Anyone's able to join. We have anywhere between 2 to 10 people in the room at a time. It is a chance to actually interact, actually talk. It's a free opportunity. If you need help, I'd love to help. I do this once a week. But I'm rooting for you guys. I think, based off coming to these events, you guys are really updating your profiles. It's looking a lot better. And again, I want to let you know, the only thing I get out of this is joy and being able to help, right? So please, if you're asking for a profile review, implement that because, I do this for free. I genuinely want to help and I'm here to support, but I need you to implement what we talk about. All right. Everybody, I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Thank you for joining. I will see you back here Wednesday at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, 8:30 Pacific, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks again.